What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Jack Wolf Knives Big Bro Jack, and this is V2 of this knife, and it actually has a couple big changes in this version from the OG version of this knife. And I don't mean the standard stuff that we usually see from V1 and V2, things like the fluted bolster, the change in blade steel, and the updated artwork, but actual changes in the design of the knife itself. So we'll definitely get into what those changes are in just a moment here. Before we do though, this one's going to be dropping at authorized dealers this coming Friday. So December 13th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And I'll make sure to leave all of those drop details as well as a link to a list of authorized dealers down in the description of the video in case you're interested in picking this one up. Now, configuration you see in front of you is the Oz Green Kirinite. Very aptly named. Also has kind of a winter green mint look to it, but I think they look absolutely wicked. Pun definitely intended there. Really, really great looking covers. Now, it's no secret that I'm a big fan of Kirinite, so these were bound to resonate with me, but I think this color in particular might be my favorite that they've done so far. Just absolutely mesmerizing, easy to get lost in the flow of that Kirinite, and you can see pretty different from my show side to my pal side. There's even kind of a different orientation of the flow of the Kirinite itself, but I think both look really stunning, and so huge fan of how that turned out. And they paired it with this Dark Blasted and Tumbled titanium bolster and a Blasted and Tumbled blade to match. Both look great. Another of my favorite finishes. So this configuration seems like it was almost tailor-made for me. I was bound to end up loving the way this one looks. So big fan of that. But I will say that this run of the Big Bro Jack is probably the most varied we've seen in terms of different configurations ever. And there's literally something for everyone. There's natural materials, which people have been asking for forever. There's a super classy modern cover option, obviously the Oz Green Kirinite. There's even a new steel series offering, the second one we've seen. First one was super popular, and that has some great covers as well. And of course the exclusive this time through Blade Capone, and that exclusive has a matching Lynch pry bar that you can purchase separately. And so just a lot of really great options, stuff that I'm really excited for to see in this run. So really great configurations this time around. Now, in terms of those changes, don't want to keep you waiting too long since I teased that a little bit earlier. The first and most major is going to be the length of the bolster. So these have been elongated, probably about double the length of what we saw on the original Big Bro, which cut off right below the pivot. And so paired with that sleeve board pattern and the clip point style blade, that kind of puts this in the big Barlow or large Barlow territory. So bolster length now is probably about 25% of the overall handle length, although I haven't measured that out, just kind of eyeballing it. So maybe not quite a third, maybe it's close to a third actually, but that's not really a hard and fast rule when it comes to big Barlows. It's anywhere between 25 and 33%. With standard Barlows, you want about a third of the overall handle length, but again, not super hard and fast with big Barlows. And so for me, really welcome change. I think it looks a lot better than the original Big Bro Jack, just proportionally breaks it up really nicely. And yeah, it looks great. Also see that triple fluting on there, obviously. If you want to see kind of what it looked like, we can take a look at the Low Bro Jack, which still has that shorter bolster. Obviously, it's a shorter handle in general, but also a shoulder bolster, which was more akin to what we saw on the original Big Bro. Now, the other change that we see is in the deployment method. So we go from a nail nick on the OG to that long pull on the V2. And so another welcome change for me personally. Now, for this knife, it's very pinchable, so I'm not really going to be using the long pull or nail nick all that much, but I think clip points just look really good with a long pull, so it works really well. Kind of a rarity for their slip joint models. We see it on pretty much all of their locking models, but only a couple of their slip joint models have long pulls so far. So definitely a welcome change as well. I'm pretty happy with both of those, and really changes the overall look of the knife quite a bit, but still has that familiar DNA for sure. Now, we already looked at the handle length side by side, so I'm gonna grab another one just so we can show off some more Kirinite here. This is a Crystal Lake Kirinite on the Low Bro. And so we already saw the handle length difference, maybe a little bit over a half an inch in overall difference there. But let's take a look in the overall length. And so placing those side by side, we'll try and line them up evenly end to end. And now you can see not a huge difference in terms of Low Bro to Big Bro, just enough where, for me, I love small knives, so the Low Bro was absolutely perfect, but it's gonna be a little bit small for some people's hand, feel like you're using a small knife, and the Big Bro really fills out the hand nicely where it feels like you're just using a regular size knife, a little bit on the larger side for slip joints, but feels very secure and full in your hand. So overall difference, we're looking at maybe, I didn't measure it out, but somewhere between 0.6 1/6 and 0.75 of an inch. And so not a major difference, but big enough where it feels like pretty hefty in your hand. One thing I will say though is that despite that difference, they both fit in the same slip. So all of their slip joint models minus the Steel Series come with a slip. So the Steel Series doesn't, but all of the rest do come with a slip. And it's the exact same size as the slip that you get with all of the other models. And as you can see, fits in there absolutely perfectly. No part of that is exposed, all protected by that leather. Fits in there nice and snug and secure, but you can easily pinch and pull that right out of there. And so a little bit larger, but not so large that it's going to be unwieldy or anything like that. Still only about 6.8 inches in overall length. So good size for a slip joint, but not too large. 3.88 inches on the handle, which I think is where you're going to notice the biggest difference. It's probably an equal difference between handle sizes and blade sizes, but the handle is where you notice all that difference because it fills out the hand so much better than the Little Bro Jack. Now, personally, I think I still prefer the sizing of the Little Bro Jack, but that's just because I like small knives. But I think a lot more people will prefer the sizing of the Big Bro here if you're looking for something a little bit larger. In terms of the blade length, we get about 2.94 inches. Beautiful clip point blade on there. Obviously I already talked about the long pull there, and just a beautiful looking, great hollow grind on there, super thin and slicey. S90V, of course. Love the blasted and tumbled finish. I'm a big fan of any tumbled, blasting, acid etching, stonewash, anything that kind of looks messy and hides future blemishes. You don't have to worry about carrying this in a slip. In fact, a lot of the ones that I have that have like a stonewash or the blasted and tumbled finish, I might not bother with a slip because it's already all marked up. It's all going to blend in the end. So really love that finish on this version. Now, have a little bit of a sharpening choil there, so we end up with about 2.6 inches of cutting edge. Also extremely lightweight, of course, at about 2.5 ounces, I think 2.54 ounces to be precise. And so just a great fit in hand. I love the sizing on this one. Like I said, size-wise, I still probably prefer the Little Bro Jack, but with the changes, I think the look of this one is just absolutely superb, and love both of the changes that they made on the design of this. So big fan of how that turned out. Now, in terms of the other configurations, I'm just going to show off some of the stuff that comes with it. We already have the sticker and the POG while we're talking about it. So one of the other options is a Black Dunes fat carbon, and I think that's the one that I would describe as kind of classy and modern. It's got a kind of circular pattern in the carbon fiber, kind of hard to describe, but really mesmerizing look. I think it's super classy looking, and it's paired with this nice black wash on the bolster and then a belt satin finish on the blade. And so that one turned out great. But then I think the one people are going to be most excited about is we have a smooth white bone offering. And so people are always asking for natural materials, whether it's bone or wood. I know when he was on my live, people were asking in the comments. I've seen other lives where people are asking on the Facebook group, people ask. And so I just know it's a big question that often comes with it. And so people should be pretty excited about that one. There's also the Steel Series, which this is only the second one. I know the first one went over really well. And another great cover option on this one, black burlap micarta, which looks stunning. Honestly, if I were going to pick up another one, I would probably end up going with the Steel Series again. I picked up the last Steel Series as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time just because we have Christmas here, just bought a motorcycle, so money's a little bit tight. But if I do, it's probably going to be the Steel Series, that black burlap micarta. And then the blade capone offering is really cool as well. It's this purple titanium anodization over a crosshatch pattern. And the blade capone actually has an exclusive with Lynch on one of their pry bars with the same exact finish, so you can match your pry bar to your knife. I think really great option. Like I said in the beginning, most varied we've seen so far, they're all very different, but I think there's something that's going to appeal to most people that are into Jack Wolf knives. And so would love to hear if you're picking one of these up, which one you're going to go with. Even if you're not picking one up, which one's your favorite. If you picked anything up in last month's sale, because no release last month, it was sale month. So for November, if you picked anything up and what you ended up getting. Any other thoughts on this knife? Always love interacting in the comments. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Definitely check out the link in the description if you need more info on the drop. It's not an affiliate link or anything, but should give you a list of all of those authorized dealers, all the drop details and pricing, all that good stuff. So thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member, or checking out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.